Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Ghosted with Criss and Paige.
Woo!
Today, I've got Paige with me,
Hello,
of course.
hello.
I'm Criss, and we've got some wonderful guests with us today.
Yes, we do. So, if you'd like to introduce yourselves, starting on my left.
Yeah, I'm Zack. Very nice to be here.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Sarah. Very nice to be here too. Don't know much.
Sarah's my cousin.
Yeah.
Zack is her boyfriend. And then...
My name's Chuck. I'm from Saratoga Springs. It's so nice to be here. This is my first podcast, so I'm a little nervous.
Sarah, you're going to have to speak up into the mic.
I'm Christian.
I wasn't expecting that. And now I have tears in my eyes.
I work with Criss, so that's how Criss knows me. Mm-hmm. What's up, homie?
What's going on, my brother?
Not much, man. It's good to be here.
It's weird having my own podcast. I think
It's fun, right?
It's different. It's really different. Usually I'm behind here, just, some people hear me in the background. Today, I get the fucking mic in front of my face.
Oh, yeah.
With the spit shield.
Yes, with the spit shield, because my peas pop and the corona is wild.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, I'm glad that I'm here with y'all today, because I hear we've got some pretty crazy stuff that we're going to talk about.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you guys for coming on. I guess where we're going to start, we had our first listener write-in story.
Yep.
So they requested that they say anonymous because they're not really sure if they believe what happened was paranormal or not.
Do you think the ghost will be after her?
I hope not. Okay.
You think they're
Yes.
going to
You just always got to make sure.
I mean,
She's in spirit protection right now?
Spirit protection. Oh, that.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's the
I
spirit protection program.
I hope so. Oh my gosh.
Ghostbusters really
The
expanded.
SPP, we're here to say, got to keep those ghosties away.
If I could bop you for a pun right now, I would do it right now, but you're too far.
You know, I did that last week to him. I literally had our friend get up, walk around the table, and flick him.
Flick me.
If you say anything like that, I might have to.
Oh, you're in for
All
a
right,
ride.
so I guess I'll dive in. There are 3 short stories, and then afterwards we can see what everyone thinks. We'll stop in between each and see how everyone feels. Now,
3 short from the same person?
yes.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay. This is
I
an
already
anthology.
know. I retyped everything for anonymity's sake. So I know what's going on. So I would like to hear, too, what you guys have to think, because I obviously know what I think.
Gotcha.
So, story 1. A seance gone wrong. I went to a historically renowned college in Pennsylvania. The school has plenty of ghost stories associated with it. Most of the reported hauntings and sightings take place in M Hall, where in the early 1900s, a student, let's call them Student A, died tragically after their robe caught on fire. Every undergrad knows the story of Student A, and even knows which room the tragedy occurred in. And in 2015, a friend of mine was fortunate, or unfortunate enough, to be assigned to the room that they died in. It was February when my friends decided to have some fun and hold a seance in the room for a laugh. Nothing happened during the seance. Furniture did not fly in the room, mirrors didn't shatter, nothing of horror movie material transpired. But it was the next night when things took a turn for the worse. Around 8 p.m. the following evening, I got several frantic texts from friends who were living in that building. A pipe burst and flooded the hall and several of the rooms on the floor below. I ran over to the building to help my friends salvage their belongings. Water destroyed thousands of dollars in electronics, clothes, and school supplies. Priceless personal items were also lost. Some of the worst damage was in Student A's room where the seance occurred. Now, given that this was mid-February, it makes sense that the pipes would burst and freeze in an old building. I personally don't believe a wrathful spirit irritated by a seance was responsible for flooding the building. I think it was just an unfortunate case of the building's age and faulty pipes falling victim to the harsh winter. But what bothered me was that the rooms that suffered the most damage were the ones that belonged to the participants in the seance. So, feelings, comments, concerns?
Now, here's the weird thing. I feel like without pictures in this story, because, like, you could tell me that there was more damage, but then sometimes when you do kind of believe in the paranormal, you will kind of think something is going on more with you than other places.
Oh, yeah, you're definitely swayed.
Yeah, so...
You got a biased opinion.
I'm a little biased, but if it was the case where it was, like, there was a little more damage in other rooms, and just going off of that, I can understand why they would think it was a paranormal incident. But I like how she presented the possible options. Like,
gave us things to debunk it with, just in case we were, interested. And I think that's pretty good because, in February, pipes burst all the time, right?
Yeah, it happens in this building.
Absolutely. But my question is, what are the chances that the people who participated just happened to have a little bit more damage. Now, it could be exaggerated, but I'd like to think that if they received, damage like that, was it because of student A dying in that dorm? Was it dormitory?
Yeah.
Yeah, like living quarters of the college. That's, I don't know. Because the other thing is, how there are always like folklores and how sometimes stories develop and snowball over time, and you get like Mothman or the Jersey Devil or something like that.
Yeah, so it could have been like a light.
Do you think that having like known about that previously had made a difference?
From what so the person who said this and sent me links to the story. So I think this was a documented event that happened where this it's like known this student did exist and did die in this dormitory
In that
from the rope catching
weird-ass
on
way.
fire.
Oh, then I hate it. Oh,
Did it
absolutely.
say how?
A candle or fire, something was dropped and caught the robe on fire.
That the student was wearing. Now I'm curious. It's like, why was that student wearing a robe? Where's the cult? Like, what's going
Well, this
on?
was in the
found
early
out is that-
1900s, so
Also, a lot of those colleges do wear like robes and things for their graduating class or for classes of...
Death on graduation day. That sucks.
That sucks. Oh my God, what is it? Like school pictures, stuff like that? You know how you wear your
yeah.
robes? So, I don't know. I mean...
what do you guys think? How are you feeling after this? Sorry, we kind of just jump in and
No, it's all good. No, I mean, it's definitely, I like how she sticks to different perspectives and considers the opposite, but also considers the paranormal. To me, this would seem like a case of faulty pipes, but knowing the history of that school and what's behind it and what happened there, you could always speculate something that would happen there. But in this case, it's an X for me for that perception.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see what else she has to say, because there's more than one story she has to tell from being at the exact location, the same location.
yeah, it all takes place at the same college. So between
I believe
two
the same
dorms,
campus,
yeah,
too?
same campus,
Yeah.
2 dorms.
Cool. So yeah, I'm
stories.
definitely excited to see what more she has to say about her experiences. But this one, I mean, and even she
But you're
admitted it
giving this one
herself.
a Randy Jackson. It's going to be a no from me.
That, yeah, it's a no.
It's a no for
It's
me,
a no
dog.
for me, dog. But then again, I'm interested to see what she has to say, because viewing the whole picture could skew my perspective, to say the least. So
Yeah, understandably.
I totally understand that because I feel the same way. Like, I want to believe something had happened. Just because...
It's fun to believe the ghosts did it.
Oh,
but like,
yeah.
I like my own scary movie once in a while, but to learn it's based off a true story, I'm like, tell me more.
Tell me more. over
But how
here.
credible are the based off a true? Who knows? But it's interesting to hear the backstory for certain events that perspire.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad this came with like a documented backstory too.
Yeah,
links to
the
it.
person who sent it in was so
Thorough.
they were
Thorough.
so thorough, and I was so excited. I was like, yes, this is the perfect.
I appreciate the
story.
skeptic part of that too. Like, I really
too.
do. Like, not many people are more than willing to be like, okay, it's February, old building, pipes just happened to burst. Like, because my ass believes in ghosts, and I wanted to believe that was ghosts, but like, it's so possible. It's just like,
Yeah.
the only reason why I was like, maybe it could have been a thing is just because of the room damage, but she wouldn't have included that in the first place if it wasn't something that she thought was a viable
Yeah.
reason for it. So it's gonna also be a no from me.
All right, that's 2 Randy Jacksons out of 5.
So what about you, Zach? Are you a Randy or a Paula? You just gonna,
Do we have a Simon on our hands? Who knows?
are you gonna be Simon and just be like, this story
I
is
think
trash?
that was absolute garbage.
No, it's actually a
You're
cool
not turning the
story.
red chair around.
You guys pretty much took the words out of my mouth. I didn't believe it to be paranormal, mostly because pipes do break a lot in the winter time, and it happened to do so there. But definitely want to believe it. It's something you hear and you would love to actually believe, to get those goosebumps and everything happening. And the adrenaline pumping, but. Yeah.
I just realized something too. This is like one of those scares in the beginning of the movie where it's like, you don't know if it was the ghost yet, you don't know if it was or it wasn't the ghost yet.
Yeah,
but it's like
it's more probable
it's like
it's
that.
not, but
yeah,
let's
it's
dive
like,
in deeper.
am I crazy? Is it the ghost? And then the worst scares just start happening.
That's when the roller coaster starts. Baby.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
my gosh.
You're telling your child, no, there's nothing in your closet.
Don't worry about under your bed.
Yeah.
It was nothing. It was your doll.
That's even
No,
worse.
thank you.
Please
no dolls.
Fine.
guys, I just threw out the glass dolls my mom gave me when I was a kid because literally I felt like they were staring at me in the dark. I was, now because, you know, we're a few episodes in and I think everyone can tell I'm very pro paranormal, but you always have to be able to sit there and try to debunk it too. You know what I mean? But let me tell you, these dolls were creepy as fuck, and I would never want them. I'm never giving my kids dolls. I hope they don't want them.
We have our own resident creepy doll. He's just chilling up there.
Is that
like
Pee-wee?
Yeah, it's Pee-wee.
Oh
I love Pee-wee's Playhouse. I hate that thing.
Don't copyright
The
strike
only
me.
problem
You're right.
with this Pee-wee right here is this is the one that was arrested for...
Oh, God. Oh,
Bad form.
That's why it's collectible, man.
Oh, no. Oh, that's why it's got the motion.
Yeah, it's...
no. I'm sad. Well, on that note, story number 2. All right. As I mentioned before, most of the ghost stories on campus are linked to M Hall. The other stories that students report are frequently situated in X Hall, funded by a wealthy man we will call Mr. X. The building is segmented in weird layers, and the doors are small to accommodate the size of Mr. X's petite nieces who had planned to attend the school. I lived in X Hall for 2 years, my first and last year. You okay over there?
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking...
Just oddly specific instructions for construction.
Yeah, make sure that all the doorways are just this
I
tall.
just want my nieces to fit, no one else.
Yeah, seriously.
This is just their hall.
Okay. Yeah. During my first year, I lived in a very small room. My roommate and I were practically on top of each other, but we made it work. The room was fine, except for one thing. There was something about the closet that bothered us.
Always the closet.
It always is. We would shut it at night, only to find it wide open in the morning. No, thank you.
It's just Tom Cruise.
You just left him in here.
Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, gosh. Now, this is an old, drafty building. I'm certain that with changes in pressure, even the slightest gust of wind could open that door up. Nonetheless, it still bothered us. One afternoon, after an exam, I decided to head back to my room and take a nap. I don't nap. It is very rare for me to do so. I laid down facing the closet and closed my eyes. Not a minute later, I woke up paralyzed, staring at the open door. I couldn't move. To my horror, I saw something emerge from the closet. The only way I could describe it is like the static you see on an old television. It was grainy and had the silhouette of a person.
I did a short story that had something very similar, like with the description of like a fuzzy... like old vintage static stuff, and I had to listen to it probably 40-50 times before it was done, and it just reminds me of that short story so much. I hate it.
But it was grainy. Okay, wait. Before I knew it, the vision was standing next to me and whispered in my ear, "We are all right now." I snapped out of the paralysis and hit my head on the top bunk as I hastily got out of bed, grabbed my backpack, and left in a hurry. What do I think happened? I think it was a classic case of sleep paralysis with visual and auditory hallucination. It was exam season, so I was under a lot of stress. And as someone who never naps, I'm certain my body was simply trying to fight falling asleep. I've had sleep paralysis before, so I brushed the experience off as just that. However, my experience seemed to upset a few friends. I recounted the experience to a friend of mine who was living on the floor above me. After telling her what happened, I remember how visibly shaken she was. She confided in me that just a few weeks prior, she was in her room saying her prayers by her bed when from the corner of her eye, she saw a gray figure appear and whisper in her ear, "Hello." So that's story number 2.
Whoa.
From a similar looking being?
She described...
Like it was gray.
Yeah, like gray and fuzzy, like the static. Grainy, but the silhouette of a person. So, I mean...
See, I got to appreciate her realization for sleep paralysis and the logic of that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, with the paranormal stuff, I'll admit I'm generally on the fence. Like, there has to be a lot of backstory, a lot of unbiased opinion, and somewhat of substantial proof. Obviously, it's hard to get proof in general, but the ideation of some sort of proof. But multiple experiences is that type of proof sometimes in a way.
Yeah, when you can collaborate with other people on similar experiences, it kind of gives validity to what's happening.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So my question, I mean, yeah, Mr. X built this and everything, and it's been old as all hell, and I'm assuming that the wood creaks because of humidity and, you know, expanding and unexpanding.
Uneven floors.
Uneven floors.
Totally explain the door.
the door just popping on open. But I mean, relatively, the whole place sounds creepy already. So I'm already going to be pre-biased, just a little bit like, okay, something's going to happen. I don't know what it's going to be.
The energy's off already.
That's my thing with it too. Is like energy, like it's weird, especially with like paranormal stuff. But like for me, energy does play a factor in things.
Oh yeah.
Like if something feels off, something's off. Like, and that could be any.
Gut.
Yeah. Like, so if there was something already weird about that space already, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was something kind of paranormal-esque that, even as crazy as it sounds, manifested in the dream, because you said that someone else had seen it as well as something similar looking.
And someone who was awake doing their prayers by their bed, and all of a sudden,
see, like that's why I'm gonna say it's a yes from me, dog. Like I'm gonna say it's a mixture of reality and that as well, because I mean, like, we've seen and heard stories of people who have seen things in real life, and then the shit kind of invades the dreams. I mean, and not just like in horror movies, but like actual ghost stories.
In reality,
so I wouldn't be surprised.
Itself.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised. Plus, I don't know. I wouldn't, even if I was on the bottom bunk, I wouldn't have taken a nap facing the haunted door. Like, that's just my own opinion. I would have been like, nope. Like, nope.
I mean, when you go to sleep with your door closed, you don't expect it to be open when you're awake. If
Never.
If no one came in and out during that whole time, when you wake up and it's wide open and it's dark in there, you're just like, nope.
Nope. Absolutely not.
yeah, no, thank you. And I will say, like, erring on the side of like in favor of paranormal, a lot of people around the world who have had sleep paralysis all see. Or at least people have reported like all around the world.
Man.
Yeah, the dream man. I think we talked about this last time.
It's always like a shadowy.
Yeah, it's like
a
always the
unified
same kind of like.
Has anyone experienced sleep paralysis? At
Yes.
this stage?
Yes, and I.
Yes,
no, thank you.
without shadowy figures though.
Same.
I've never had. I mean, I've known people to see, like, to experience something like this girl and or man experienced, but I've never seen any shadowy figures.
I saw the motherfucker. He was creepy.
I have something against sleep paralysis. It's the fact that your mind is awoke before your whole body.
Yeah.
Now you don't know at what stage of your REM cycle that you really wake up. And so if you are dreaming, or if you have dreamt and when you wake up, you typically don't remember your dreams, but you see stuff very vividly, right? So if you are dreaming, maybe when you're in that state of paralysis, you're looking around, but your dream, your REM is still in full cycle. It's in full effect.
Yeah.
So what happens is you tend to see things because in your dream you see things, or you tend to hear things because in your dream people talk to you. I mean, it's very much realistic. And I believe that when it comes to sleep paralysis, that really is what's happening, because I studied psychology in college, and I was really into that. Like, I was studying dreams, I was studying this, I was studying that, and our professors would always talk with it, and I had a really hot professor, so I really paid attention.
So they say it's the spiritual monster under the bed. He said it's the monster in your head.
It's the monster in your head is what I believe.
But I'm like of the mindset that I feel like sometimes, especially in cases like this, it's almost a weird coexistence.
Kind of.
Yeah, it's like,
because I feel like your mind creates what you anticipate to be there. Mm-hmm. So you're in your mind, you're like, all right, you're thinking, I'm spooked out, I'm really scared, I'm really scared. You go to sleep, you're gonna have nightmares. That's what we had as little kids. We woke up screaming like, oh my God, like,
especially
monster or something.
From a prestigious college, that's going to give you high stress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's
and
true.
so your mind will create these beings.
Now,
But you know what? Honestly, what about the door in the hallway opening? Yeah, that's.
Now, do you think
some
those two
creepy
could be
stuff like
separate? Do you think?
I think that they could be.
The seeing the figure, which could or could not be associated with sleep paralysis, be related to the door issue? Or do you think both coincide because maybe the door issue gave her stress, or she kind of put those two ideas together?
the only reason I think they
she.
both coincide is because they both describe the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's not typically what you describe when you see something with sleep paralysis. Like, I've never heard of people seeing a staticky man.
My figure was had long hair, but it was more of a silhouette. It only had eyes and features, no no like face that was discernible, no like finger wrinkles or anything like that.
I shit you not, mine looked like that fucking Momo thing that was going around.
Yeah,
for
that's
a while.
what mine looked like.
Mine freaked me out. Like that's why.
Oh no.
No, mine. That's why Momo freaked me out when it was floating around, because I was like, absolutely not. Like the first time I saw it, I
came alive.
I'm getting actual goosebumps, because like I remember seeing that when I first saw Momo online. I had a very visceral reaction. I literally like slammed my laptop shut. Yeah. I was like, that's not okay.
The mind and body react to any type of trauma. So as soon as that makes sense, that your body would completely retract and be like, nope.
Nope. But
it probably was being triggered. Realistically,
yeah, exactly.
That's like what?
Oh, sorry. We talked about, I think it was the first episode, I lightly brought up sleep paralysis. I think it was either...
I brought up sleep paralysis on my first...
Was it the first one? Because I talked about my experience with it, but I also talked about how I had a dream where I was asleep in my room and I woke up to someone poking my back and then going, shh, and then just like left. But I'm going to sound crazy
around the campfire.
Yeah, but it sounds kind of crazy, but it kind of looked like a more humanized Momo now that we're talking about it.
Remind me who Momo is.
That crazy...
Do you want to pull it up?
Yeah.
Oh my god, someone... I literally
describe it so our listeners can understand what this.
If you don't know what Momo is, Google it at your own risk, because I can't. Big, scary. It's like someone took someone's face and like
there you go.
Stretched it kind of, and
so the lady with the big eyes that kind of looks like that anime show.
Thank you. I'm actually having some sort of reaction to knowing it's like
it kind of looks like Mikasa.
Wow,
that would freak me out.
A lot of
talking about, Sarah.
You know, especially
conversation
in
blew up.
Paralysis where you can't move and you're just seeing that. Oh, you just want to slap it.
It looked just like it. That's what freaked me out. So I would believe, honestly, that the two situations in that story are related. I do believe she did experience some sort of sleep paralysis, but who's to say she didn't actually see what that person saw?
And if anyone wants a spooky example of what sleep paralysis is, and coming from Hollywood, and you want to watch a series about a haunted house, watch Hill House, Netflix, Neck Lady episode, and you will understand what sleep paralysis is.
Is that
when seeing a creepy figure?
That was my name in high school. So just let that
Side note, that has one of the scariest jump scares I think I've ever seen.
Oh, Hill House?
That was a great series.
When they were driving the car, and I wasn't ready for it.
Someone say spoilers? I think I heard spoilers.
Yeah,
there was nothing spoilery about that.
No, that wasn't a spoiler, but yeah, we recommend you watching the show if you do like the paranormal and generally spooky shows.
Now, I just want to jump in real quick. Now, if you both saw something that looked like Momo, was this around the time that it came out on Facebook? Or
No, this was before. This was before.
You both have a weird shared experience with sleep paralysis, seeing the same image before you two even knew each other, and before this was on Facebook?
Well, I've known Criss for a few years, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was in between the time before you worked here.
Probably.
Yeah, so.
But that's like that shared experience that I was talking about before all around the world.
Shared universe. We're sharing.
Whoa, full circle. A shared universe.
I do have one point, because I'm realizing all these things are taking place at like a historic college. There's a relatively there's a frequency that happens in older buildings, and it resonates at about 2 hertz for all the sound people out there. You can't hear anything below 40 is not audible by human ear unless it's like a sub kick or like a bass drop or something like that. Apparently these frequencies low cause anxiety, fear, and not anxiousness, and like
something of that similar vibe.
Yeah.
It's flight or flight.
Yeah,
that's like thunder too. Thunder gives off a low range, so that's why sometimes people get goosebumps when you hear thunder.
Some in old creaky places like that, made of wood, they have this frequency that just happens to resonate. It's the building's resident frequency. They will like resonate at that frequency, and that is apparently what causes all these like, not delusions per se, but like it's already setting you up to be fearful and stuff like that. So I could see going into the scenario, going to take a nap you weren't expecting to take. All of a sudden, it all just comes together at that one perfect moment.
The stars
aligned. Paige, was this in the same room where that student died?
No, this is a completely separate hall.
Okay.
So completely
same
college,
but
though. Same college,
school
same
is haunted though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to know the school, or is that TMI?
TMI.
TMI. Got it.
TMI.
Got it.
All right, so the final story, which in my opinion
TMIU.
is the
That's the
is the showstopper, if you will, because this one completely
Bring it on.
freaked me out.
This better
Give
be
me
a
chills.
Paula.
It'll be a Paula. My final story takes place in X Hall as well. It was my senior year spring semester. I was living on the second floor. On the floor above me were two roommates who were both on the Irish dancing team. At odd hours of the night, they would start practicing, and from how loud it was and how forcefully the ceiling would shake, you would think that they were wearing iron shoes.
I'm sorry. That's the funniest thing. That's right above me. 2 Irish dancing students. I'm sorry. That's hilarious.
Your school didn't have an
all good.
Irish dancing team?
Girl. Where do you go to
I would
school?
transfer. I'd be like, I need a new fucking dorm.
The education must be great.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, I'm sorry,
No
girl.
problem.
Girl and or dude, I'm not digging at you. That was good. That was good.
Okay, so let me go back. At odd hours of the night, they would start practicing, and from how loud it was and how forcefully the ceiling would shake, you would think they were wearing iron shoes. My roommate and I went to ask them to keep it down, only to be met with claims that they were sleeping and that we disturbed them. My roommate and I figured that maybe they were lying because they were embarrassed, and that warning them was enough to get them to stop. We were certain we were right when the noises stopped for several weeks. Then, a week before spring break, the noise started again. Around 10 p.m., the noises started up again. It was significantly louder and more forceful than any previous occasion. My roommate and I were annoyed and decided to confront them again. We went upstairs and knocked on their door. We were met with no response. Irritated and desperate to get some sleep, we decided to ask the hall advisor, who was one of our close friends, if she could try talking to them. Our friend was confused. She told us, "That's not possible. They both left for spring break a few days ago. No one's in their room." Now, as a skeptic, I think it was just the building's old pipes playing more tricks on us. Pipes can mimic the sounds of footsteps, but I will let you decide how to interpret the story.
Haunted.
That definitely was the best story.
That's a big.
Not that the other two were bad, but it's just like that one was definitely the
Simon Cowell,
showstopper.
yes.
That's a clear cut. That's creepy as hell.
Simon
So
Cowell
wait,
buzzer.
can you describe what that shaking was again? Like how she described
It
it?
was like Irish step dancers.
Oh well,
No,
there
like,
were
there was
Irish
like,
step dancers,
Oh.
but she now as a skeptic, I think it was just the building's old pipes playing more tricks on us. Pipes can mimic the sound of footsteps, but who?
No, they can't.
My thing is,
I don't agree
if
with
it's
that, yeah.
if it's
Yeah.
shaking the ceiling, that's where
I mean-
my skeptic whatever is going out the door. It's paranormal. I'm grabbing my EMF detector. I'm grabbing my spirit box. We're going, baby.
Yeah, I'm thinking that one's the creepiest things to me so far. I'm gonna say that's
So you're
a yeah.
telling me these people have been making so much noise and partying up there. She wasn't invited, and there's actually no one there. The nerve.
Now, what was the
she
time?
got ghosted on her own
She got
party.
ghosted at her own dorm.
Dang.
Damn.
Hashtag ghosted.
She said the thing.
With Paige.
You said the title in the movie.
I know.
Holy crap!
That's the moment
The fourth
everyone
wall.
waits for. Oh, that's why they titled that movie.
That was me as a kid when I saw Back to the Future for the first time. I was like, he said it. But yeah, man, I don't really got nothing for that one. I mean, if anything, because I do believe in the paranormal, but I'm at the same time I like to disprove a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
I'm like, okay, what if the RN was the one who was like hanging out in there with some people, but they knew it was an empty room they could probably use? Like,
I don't know, maybe.
I don't know. Like that's even a stretch for me because they said that they had been gone for spring break and then they talked to that floor's RN.
And the
Yeah.
RN already has its own space.
yeah.
Space.
True. And I mean, they went upstairs and knocked on the door to be like, hey, and nothing, like, no one answered.
And I wanna know-
They didn't hear anyone.
Are the ghosts that are partying at the upstairs room chilling with the closet monster?
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, is this like a
Sorry, I know
Spooky
conspiracy?
dance party. Is what they're saying.
They did the math.
It's the monster. God damn it!
Now, because that was in the same area, right? The last two stories.
Yes, they took place in the same hall, but I don't know if it was the same room.
Because there's some.
See, I
I think
like-
it was separate rooms.
There's some funky stuff just going on in that whole building. If
Yeah,
so,
an Irish
so.
dancing team? That's why.
The Dropkick Murphys show up to judge.
No, yeah, I
you
would
got-
like to do some more research on that room. You know,
I just
like
want to
Yeah.
go to that
see-
college.
Maybe there were a lot of people that used to party in that room, and there could have been a crazy accident there where many people died.
See, here's the crazy thing, though. There's actually some things, quote-unquote hauntings, that are basically... And I forgot where I saw this. It was a really cool documentary, but it was almost like a recording of the past being played back.
Oh, you mean like, what's the word? We just had it. We talk about it every week. Residual energy playing back in time.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, there are cases of that. This could be a very strong version of that. So it's not necessarily someone died in there.
But it's like a reoccurring event.
It's just the energy.
Since time is non-linear.
It's
non-linear.
It's also such an old building, and if they're using like natural, like you're using wood and concrete and stone, it holds energy. So of course the energy could totally have enough. There's people in the college year round, so there's always energy feeding into that old energy.
Yeah, all I'm thinking about is Buffy the Vampire Slayer and that one episode where they have that scene play out multiple times.
Where they go into
and then
the loop?
spirits take over the people and they start playing over that memory loop.
Oh, gosh.
Like what the spirits taking over the bodies.
Yeah.
But that's what makes me think about her and or his story, because I don't know if it's
we're identifying. We don't know.
There's actually a really cool case of that in Jersey. I forgot where it was, but there was a country road that just for whatever reason, when you go there at a certain time, you can hear, and some people actually see an old model Ford going up and down the road.
I know what you're talking about. I think it's in Weird New Jersey.
Yes.
I have all the books, and I know what you're speaking of, and now I have to Google it after the show.
Well, I remember talking about, I guess it's 3 weeks ago now, talking about Gettysburg. There was a old bridge. Oh, God. That had residual energy that people kept. We saw faces.
No, Gettysburg is a whole other thing, because I've been there a few times. Yeah, there's some crazy stuff that
people died at Gettysburg. An immense amount of people died there.
An immense amount of people died.
The energy there is probably intense.
I stayed at a field hospital for multiple times. An old one that had old parts and the plaques of everyone who was disarmed. Or anything.
Nope.
And it just had someone die there the month before or so.
Nope.
And that's where we're staying for after prom, man. What do you mean? It sounds like a party and a half.
See, I guess it must be built into me at this point in my life.
This was called white people shit.
Yeah. That is certainly not people of color shit, because that is someone died in here? All right. Oh, that's cool. Criss, what you doing? I'm packing up the car.
I'm getting out of here.
I'm leaving. I'm not dying in this motherfucker.
We don't stay here. Yeah.
Well, to your friend and their story at their school, they definitely have an interesting school in regards to, I guess,
energy.
The energy there and how old the building is. Now, were all of those stories paranormal? To me, in my view, maybe the first two were a little up in the air, but that last one could seem like the most interesting one, for where all different people are hearing stuff going on, reporting it, saying that it's her, other people, her saying that it's other people, then the RA being like, you're crazy because there's no one there.
Yeah.
So it's either the building's making lots of noises, or there's something going on in that college.
I think that Building X is haunted.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to agree with Building X being haunted.
Find X in this picture, just circle it. And that's
you know what's the worst part? We're not even actually making it anonymity. It's just Mr. X Hall.
I know, it's just Mr. X Hall.
Oh man, I don't know if any of you have ever seen Ghost Adventures, but when they hit debunked across the screen, I need
debunked.
Right now we just need haunted. Stamped across.
Unbunked.
Have any of you ever had a weird experience at a school or anything like that?
I know, well, not at a school, but I know Zack has had an interesting story that's happened to him before. I don't know if you want to share.
Yeah, it was at my old family house. I'll jump right into this. It was at my old family house when I was growing up, and this had to have been the time of 7th or 8th grade. I can't remember, when. Mm-hmm. And I was watching a horror film. I'm very big into horror. I'm very big into paranormal activity, everything like that. So I'd always watch those shows. Remember with that guy who has the faux hawk, Zack? His name is Zack,
Zack Baggins.
Zack Baggins.
Yeah. Ghost Adventures.
I would watch that, and it would be pretty cool.
Watch it.
But I wasn't watching his show. I was watching another. Can't remember the name of it. But they were speaking of a guy. And he was driving on the highway, and he saw a lady wearing a white shirt, white shoes, and I guess jeans on, walk across the highway, and he believed to almost have hit it, and he like skirted off the road, and he's like, oh my god, did I just hit somebody? But he like looked around, nobody was there at all on the highway. And so he was bringing up this, and I remember seeing that like reenactment, and they kept saying the woman's supposed name, because there was a woman that died in a car crash there. So it could have been her looking around very recently to when this guy saw her while he was driving on the highway. And I remember like just being like, oh man, I really want to see a ghost. Just 12, 13 years old, like
You put that energy out there.
I put that energy, and I welcomed this spirit in. I was like, hey, you know what? If you are really out there, maybe you're looking for a friend or somebody to talk to. You look kind of lost, so
Rookie.
I opened the door in a sense. Right after that, I watched the rest of the episode. It was more than just one story. They had multiple stories, so I watched it, and I kept saying like, oh man, like I really want to see something.
I want to see a ghost.
Yeah.
I want to see a ghost.
So I went upstairs, and in my old house, my bedroom was connected to my bathroom, and we had a sliding door in between. If you ever wanted privacy, you just slid the door shut, kept it open. So I was like, all right, it's just me in the house right now. Maybe my mom was downstairs, and so I left the sliding door open to where I could see into my bedroom. And I jumped in the shower. And in my shower, we had sliding doors as well, but they were glass, but with like little divots in it. So you can't really see you can see the figure, but you can't like see like you're looking through glass, right? You see it.
It's like cloudy almost.
Yes.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And even in the shower, right? I'm washing my hair, and I'm like, I said it out loud. I said, come on in. Like, you're more than welcome.
You said it in the fucking in the shower?
And yeah, because
that is my worst fucking nightmare, man. Like,
That's when you're most vulnerable.
so
absolutely not.
So I just remember washing my hair, and while the soap is going down my face from the shampoo, I remember seeing a figure go by, and we had a computer in my room that was set up right next to the sliding door, but it was just more in like a divot into my bedroom more. And I saw this shadow go by, white shirt, jeans, and white shoes. But everything else was blurred, and I couldn't really see,
the face.
I couldn't really see it, or even like the hair color. Like I don't really remember what it was because my mom has orange red hair. And so I was kind of like spooked out. I still had soap in my face. I said, "Who's there?" And all that was responded was, it's just me. And it kind of went right into, like, right across the door, walking. And I remember seeing it because it was long enough to where, like, you have soap down, but you're looking through and you see it. And I'm like, oh.
Did you have anyone who passed away recently?
Yeah, my great-grandma, but I don't think...
She wasn't moving that fast.
Did she wear jeans, white sneakers?
No.
Okay.
Just But so it was just me, and I'm like, okay, that's a little weird. I thought I was alone, but I guess my mom is here, right? Did the rest of my shower, but I don't ever remember seeing her leave. I just remember seeing her go. And so I was like out of the shower, and you know how you're 12, 13, you're kind of nervous because you left the bedroom door open, your mom might be there, and you're naked.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hello? Like, are you still there? No answer. So I went, got a towel. I was like, okay, my mom, she definitely has used that computer. It's the only computer in the house, to use. And so I got dressed. Later, I thought nothing of it. And later, while we were having dinner, I had, dinner with my mom and everybody. I asked, I was like, hey, Ma, like, what'd you go to my room for? She's like, what? I was like, yeah, what did you go to my room for, like, before when I was in the shower? She said, Zach, I didn't go in your room.
Oh, my God.
Was your brother in the house?
My brother was not there. My sister was not there. Nobody was in the house.
Wait, what about
And
your
it never
dog?
left. That's the worst part.
What about your dog? Your dog is, like, white and tan.
No, I
Wait.
Don't wear sneakers.
first of all, my dog.
I retract my statement.
I had at the time a Jack Russell Terrier that was living in that house, but I mean, like a 1 foot high dog, you know? Yeah, sure.
On hind legs max, like.
But I just remember it was a very, very similar depiction of what I thought that woman would be on the highway. That was that person. And I just remember just saying, you know, say her name, for example, was Julie. You know, Julie, you're more than welcome. I'm here to speak to you. I'm here to welcome you in. And and then that was kind of when it threw me off, because my mom said, you know, nobody was home at the time. When we had dinner, my brother and my sister were there. She went to go pick them up from somewhere. So I was completely alone in the house.
Did jewelry go missing?
No.
Okay. Then it wasn't a burglar.
True.
Oh my God.
He could have just been like, it's just me.
Yeah.
While he's taking the jewels.
See, like,
It was a woman.
That's the one. She's a cat burglar. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's just me. Oh, I'm in the shower, all soaped up. Someone's here.
Yeah, you know, like shampoo
creepy.
running down your face. You're like, okay, whatever. Like you kind of, and I turned around because I didn't want to.
Yeah.
You know, like I'd rather see my butt, you know, than anything else. So I turned around and that was that. But I didn't hear anybody leave my room. I didn't really hear anybody come in my room. But when I went into my room, both of my doors were shut. Like, because again, my bedroom connects to my bathroom, but both my bathroom and my bedroom have separate doors that connect into the hallway. So those were both shut. I don't know. A little weird. That's my
I have that set
ghost
up
intel.
too. I hate that you just brought that up, because I'm going to be thinking about that this whole time. That's exactly how my bedroom, bathroom, I can open the door and like look into my bedroom,
Right.
and I have 2 doors to the hallway that I can go out at any time, and I always keep them closed or locked. So like, I hate it. I hate it, especially being so vulnerable in the shower.
And I feel like if you could be like, if you wanted to be a skeptic with this, you could be like, oh, well, like you were washing your hair, you had soap in your eyes, you were thinking about it. But the fact that you got an auditory response is what really solidifies everything.
Clear as day. And
That's
I just
what's
remember
shaking me.
Yeah.
And do you think as children we might see more into the paranormal because we want to believe it so much? Granted, people as adults could definitely see a lot, especially if they're heavily into it. Like we were talking about before, the more you believe in it, the more you could probably see it.
I think as a child, maybe in your early years, up to age 5. But when you get
But you still
into more
really
cognizant
believed in
thinking
it.
as a teenager and, you know, as a preteen teenager, you know, you start coming to reality with more things.
I feel like that sense of wonder gets eroded by societal norms. Rather, that's weird. That's
like once
different.
you realize it's not a monster, it's really just like a coat.
Yeah,
We've discussed this on a previous episode. We've touched a little bit upon it, where like kids are just so open. You know, they are so open to anything and everything, and I think that definitely plays into it.
Yeah, that natural spark of wonder and you know, the constant quest for searching for, like, just asking why.
But because they're so trusting too, do you think that's why spirits might be more susceptible
to reaching out to them?
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, between that and the fact that, like, after so many years, you get just bogged down with other things that your brain simply does not have time to process something extraordinary, extrasensory like that, because there's so many other processes your brain has to constantly go around. Work, sleep, eat, clean, all that stuff. You know, ghosts don't have time in there. I don't see ghosts in any one of my planning days.
It's not ghost
But except for when you specifically ask them to come into your life, Zack.
That's reckless. That was, especially then I'm going to take a shower afterwards. That's not my game.
So were you not going to do that later? Are you not going to go take a shower later and be like,
you have to be alone.
Okay, so I need to get an alone shower, and I need to show a ghost my intergluteal cleft to make sure that...
well, good thing you got both.
You have to first pump yourself up and inspire yourself by watching some type of ghost.
Come on, Julie! I need to see a ghost! Right? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to have a seance beforehand, too, just to make sure I get a response. Hopefully
do
my
not.
pipes burst.
Yeah. Play with a Ouija board as well.
No.
Oh, okay, all right.
Too far.
I think I've accidentally...
Too big of a joke.
I probably accidentally let out some spirits while playing that as a child, but it's okay.
I've only...
See, that's something I want to try.
Ouija board?
What, let out spirits?
I've never. No,
Well, I mean, yeah, kind of, sort of, but I've never done it either. Just because I don't.
Fact.
Yeah.
The only time I've ever encountered an Ouija board was a fake one I made in your basement with you and your sister and Kylan.
Cool.
Really?
Out of cardboard.
Oh yeah, we also had a real one too, but
Your basement scared
You still
the
have it?
crap out of
yeah,
me.
we still have a Ouija
Really?
board, I
Shit's
think.
made by Hasbro. That's the worst part.
8+ baby.
Honestly, I think the Hasbro ones are crap, and you have to get one made out of wood.
I think if there's enough energy, anything will open up a portal.
anything involving, well, like, you know, witchcraft, because you know that's a real thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like involves
Higher
woods,
magic
like
is what they call it.
like oaks and wood and stuff like
I'm
that.
having flashbacks to our childhood and being in your parents' closet, the walk-in one, and like Mel, like your older sister, scaring the crap out of me, doing seances in the closet. Oh my gosh, I'm just
we
having
had a normal
flashbacks.
childhood, I swear.
I swear that.
I swear. We just held seances in a closet and Ouija boards in the basement, and we slid down the stairs in sleeping bags.
This is before iPods, people. And I say iPods.
Wow.
iPads, iPhones, anything with a screen that moves
With Wi-Fi.
with Wi-Fi. We didn't have that until high school.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna. I mean, see, Zach, the fact that you brought it up, maybe I'll try a Ouija board, but
Whoa.
I have stuff that has Ouija board stuff on it.
Well,
Yeah, but you're not like.
Has anyone tried any other kind of paranormal items besides Ouija board? I don't.
You should do a Ouija board in your house if it's haunted.
Hell no.
Nope, that's that. That portal apparently has already been open because we have a lot of
You have to
poltergeists.
close it then. Go in your basement and close it.
Oh, I've tried. This is an issue. Believe me,
This is how horror
Cover
movies
the
start.
well.
Nope, this is how horror movies start.
Guys, the episode in Paige's basement will happen sometime this year, and it will be broadcasted from Paige's basement, so the spirits can
that
also
kind
chime
of
in
would be
too.
a fun.
We're gonna
Facebook
live stream it anyway.
Yeah.
Look, I would go in your basement alone.
Have
Lights
fun.
off.
Come on over.
a Ouija board.
My house
Nope.
is 100,
I would
not
do
a
it.
Ouija board, but anything else you can have.
Why can't I do a Ouija board?
Because I do not trust. I do not trust them. I've just something about them is like the bad energy.
The fact that they sound like W, but it's actually spelled with an O, I just don't trust it. Ouija board.
I just nope. You can. My house is 100 years old this year. You can go and I'll give you all my ghost equipment. I'll give you everything. You can go sit down there. It is like literally. Even Tom.
The scariest thing down there is like millipedes. Let's be real. And mold.
I've locked you. Fun fact: I literally shut off all the lights on Criss and closed the door, and he got super pissed at me because it was too scary.
It is scary as hell.
See, so bam.
It's scary as hell when you can't see millipedes.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Actually,
had one that
Criss, you
crawled
said
right
something
across
that
the
made
leg.
me think of how other people can think that they see paranormal things, especially with mold. So let's just say you live in a really, really old house and you don't know there's an obscene amount of black mold within your walls.
yeah.
You start to get sick, and I'm not very knowledgeable on what mold poisoning does, especially to different molds. But what if you just start seeing things because you're getting
Hallucinating, yeah. No, it's like with I think you and I
feel
were
like
talking
that would
about
have
this.
to take
Carbon
a long time, though.
monoxide.
It might take like
Give me a year.
Yeah.
You're gonna live in my
I'm gonna
basement
live
for
in
a
the mold.
year.
The spiders just started appearing 6 months ago, so I don't
They
know
just
what's
moved in
happening.
and I charged them rent.
Scary short story about my basement. It's not even paranormal. I was doing laundry like 6 months ago, and a bunch of baby spiders decided to descend from the ceiling into my hair and into the laundry, and I was very upset.
You know, spiders like to do that. For some reason, if you're under even a tree, many times this happened in Florida because it's Florida. But I like my friends, we would park under trees for maybe like just parking, going to like a recreational field to go play. And then we just see a huge tree spider just going down the webs very slowly.
I'll
and
take
you're
a
like,
ghost
oh, okay.
any day over a spider.
Yep, 100%. Ghosts to spiders
And
all
they're
the
big.
time.
They were huge. It was
Hate
very
it.
big.
Florida spiders, not fun.
Yep.
I would have rathered a lizard.
So I could see a whole bunch of little babies just trying to get right on you.
It was
But
so
then,
sad.
you know what? The
There was
thing
like
is,
1,000.
like, I think little baby spiders are cute. Number one, their pincers can't penetrate your skin. It's too
That's pretty cool.
tough, you know? So you got
Okay.
a little baby on you, and no matter what it does, it's not going to harm you.
I don't want it to
can't.
And it might even turn you into a supernatural entity.
No,
It might do.
I'm okay.
Yeah, I'd take Spider-Man powers first, not dying.
When they grow up is when they can
You
get
should have
it.
seen me freaking out over a lightning bug the other day. I got into Chris's room and I had a little bottle of Febreze and I was
Holy
screaming.
Shit.
I
I
was
thought
like,
it was
A lightning bug?
Bugs really
she
get
bugged
me.
out.
Bugged out.
They really freak
You
me
should
out.
have tried to catch it in a jar.
I did.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you did.
Yeah, I went around with a piece of paper and I was like, "Come here, you stupid firefly, get in my jar."
I have that video saved because I Snapchatted it, so I will. If anyone, I'll put it on our story.
Yeah, it was like
was
tried
so
to fly
funny.
onto my face, and I was like, "No."
He's with a poster chasing it, and I'm on the floor. I'm like, get it, get it. I hate bugs.
I love those. Like, I remember sitting in a tree, and there's this one tree that I particularly like in Central Park, because me and Sarah, we live in the Upper West Side. And I remember, this was actually maybe before I even met you, I would go down to the park and sit under this tree during July, June, and there would be tons of lightning bugs there and just go around you. And it's cool. You whip out a book and you start reading it mid-afternoon. It turns into late, and then as it becomes darker and darker there, just the lightning bugs are going all around it.
Oh, that sounds
It's pretty
nice.
cool. Very
That
romantic
sounds
spot.
awesome.
Lightning bugs in Central Park is just beautiful in general.
You know what's funny? I worked in New York for years, and I still haven't been to Central Park.
Kidding me? Well, you
not.
have to come visit us then.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, for real. I haven't been either.
You guys, might as well.
Yeah.
At this point.
It's so funny.
But before this episode wraps, I
Yeah.
have to ask one more question. Well, actually, I don't know when it's wrapping, but when it wraps.
Whenever we want. Go
Whenever
for
we
it.
wanted to.
Before you say that, I just want to let everyone know you don't hear Christian anymore because he had to sadly depart us.
Oh yeah, Christian had to go work.
Yeah, he
I
had to go
apologize,
work.
y'all.
So
What they're not telling you is he actually got dragged out of here with no explanation, and we think it is the spirit that lives underneath this building.
Unfortunately, Christian was dragged to hell during this, and it's
Ruh-roh.
weird for a podcast because you can't really explain it. No one can see it happen, but it happened. Unfortunately, shame.
I thought that the ghost was extremely rude when it was happening during my story.
Yeah,
He was just being dragged out, and he was like, help me.
Well, at
And
least
Zach's
he
like,
was-
I'm trying to tell a story.
trying to listen in-depthly. I couldn't help.
But guys, at least he was on a rolly chair. It was a smooth
It
transition.
was. That's why you really didn't hear much fuss.
Sorry, Christian.
Yeah. You're gonna hear in the background of like 20 minutes ago. You're gonna hear, "I love you." As he walks out.
Okay, so
Yeah, sorry.
interesting feelings. So this one's more so not really seeing anything, but feeling and or kind of just experiencing something more so than physically seeing something. So, I mean, it's kind of, in a sense, people would say it's the most lame way to experience a supernatural or paranormal encounter. Ooh, the room got cold. It could be the air vent or something. Or, ooh, this spot felt weird. Now, my weird experience has been encountering, like, electrical issues, sometimes where I've been. And it happened multiple times at one of my old work buildings. For one time I went into the bathroom, and then I went to go down and tie my shoe, and when I went to bend down to tie my shoe, the lights just went off, and then
When you were in the bathroom?
when I was in the bathroom, and now it's
at work.
and it wasn't an automated light system
that was
or
gonna be my
anything.
question.
But as soon as the lights went off, I obviously perked back up, and as soon as I perked back up, they just flicked back on. Didn't think anything of it at the time. I was like, this is creepy, but whatever. I'm really not that superstitious. Now, it happened, the similar situation happened again in my room where I was just sitting in my room and the light just went off. Sometimes, and this happened throughout my life, where I'd wake up and my light would just be on, knowing full well I turned it off before I would go to sleep. Now, this one is now, Paige, insert that audio sticker. That was debunked because we figured out down the line that we had electrical issues in my wall, but the place at work was still kind of unexplained because it never happened again. There was never any workers in there fixing a lighting issue. But the third experience that kind of had me wonder, being like, do I have some bad juju or something going on, was I was driving home from my friend Criss's house coming from Pennsylvania, and it was past midnight, and I was driving over the bridge over the state line from PA to New Jersey, and there's street lights that were on, but every time I would go underneath them, the street light for where that my car was under would go off.
I'm not kidding. I was thinking about this while you're talking. This happens to me all the time, and I think I'm crazy.
Yeah. And then
my
people
God.
would say, oh, well, sometimes streetlights have an automated timer that can go off and on at any given time. So if your car were to pass by it, it might just hop on. You might think it was on, but it was really off and then go on. But girl, I saw some things.
I don't know.
No, serious. We'll be like growing up, it always creeped me out because we'd be driving on the highway and I would see like an off light and all these cars in front of us are passing, it's not coming on. But as soon as we passed it and I'm looking at it, it turns on. Or opposite, it would just turn off as soon as like our car passed it. And it always like made me feel really weird.
It only happened over that bridge too, like the bridge when going over the bridge from Pennsylvania to New York.
I was about to say the George
and
Washington.
that's coming from New Hope, if anyone's wondering.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Pennsylvania to New Jersey.
Yes. Did I say something
New York?
else? Oh, sorry.
True.
I live in New York. My bad, people. Well, born and raised in New Jersey, but currently live in New York. So yeah, that was my kind of creepy encounter with somewhat of what I thought of a paranormal experience dealing with electricity. So maybe, that would seem to me like it would be a traveling spirit since it kind of stuck with me, and it's the same similar encounter involving light just going out, or going on. So it makes me think, I don't know if it was a spirit, if it was a good spirit because they're trying to keep light around me, or a bad spirit because they're trying to put light out. So who knows? Or there's just some electrical issues going on.
We'll never know.
We will never know until I experience something again, or you don't hear from me again.
Yikes.
That was the last time we heard from Sarah.
Oh no.
No.
It wasn't me. Those damn electrical ghosts.
You'll see Zack on the ID channel next year.
Oh my God.
No.
No, like that. We can't do that.
We can't end on something like that.
No.
Oh my
So you know what?
gosh.
You know what? One of my favorite places to go to is St. Augustine. That place
the
is
lighthouse.
gorgeous,
Damn it.
but it is very, very, very haunted.
I wanted
Yes.
to go there.
Supposedly.
We were in that area in September, and I was so mad that I didn't realize how close I was to the St. Augustine Lighthouse because of how the history and the paranormal history attached to it. There's been at least 2 or 3 Ghost Hunters episodes about this place, and I'm fully hooked every time.
Yep. The little girl Lily, during the yellow fever, she used to stay up there, up on a gate that led right into the town. Warning people to stay away.
Yeah.
People still see that, that little girl up there. And there's been countless of times where police were called from people.
Little girls are creepy.
Yeah.
Trying to book that trip to St. Augustine.
I know.
Seriously.
But there's been countless of calls to the cops, right? And the 911 dispatcher would say, oh, where do you see this girl? She's on the wall as soon as you go into that little town for St. Augustine, which now obviously it's a lot bigger than what it used to be. It used to be just one like strip, and now it's just expanded. But they're like, oh yeah, that's Lily. That's fine. It's just a ghost. And people are like, what?
I'm sorry. Did I call the police?
I think I need to call 911 on 911. Oh my God.
Also, just the town in general. I mean, they've been conquered by the Spanish, the French, the English. Back to the Spanish. I mean, it's just constant war. They have this fort there where they used to stand people up and shoot them. And you see all the bullet holes on where they just did, and it's on like the outside of
Was it a
the
port
wall.
city?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And at one time throughout history, pirates came and sacked the whole city.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, a lot of deaths happen. If you go to, like, the Ripley's Believe It or Not Center right over there, very haunted. I've been there, like, at nighttime. Pretty creepy. Very creepy. Because I got more of, like, an explicit tour where it was just me and 4 people. Sometimes I do it with, like, 18 people. Could really kill the effect,
Yeah.
Especially when you have little kids running around. You're like, all right, man. Like,
All right. Well,
Yeah, it's like, what did I waste my money
try
on?
to trip one, they can't see because it's pitch dark anyway.
It was a ghost. Oh, it's haunted in here.
Oh, you gotta watch out.
And I'd like to, you finish.
But they have this a story on what my dad used to tell me in St. Augustine. They stayed at this haunted hotel, and you have to. It's still there. I forgot what the name of it is, but you have to. I mean, obviously, I could get it. Maybe you guys could post it up.
Yeah.
But you have to get, in order to get a room, you have to order like a year in advance because it's constantly like used and used, and it's a very haunted hotel.
Ooh.
And my dad was saying one time he's in the shower and showering alone, and the water went from hot to cold and then back to hot, and he thought it was my mom.
Yeah.
So he yelled, and my mom's all the way in the room like, "What are you talking about? Like, I'm just packing stuff." I'm something freaky with my mom, you know what I mean? In the shower, I don't know. But
Do you think in haunted places, known haunted places, that the building managers knowingly put extra stuff in there?
I don't know, because my dad said he looked and he saw in the shower, because when it went back to hot, he looked and he saw in the shower the NOS turning by itself.
Oh, no.
So I don't know if it's there for an effect or not.
Yeah.
But
In reality,
That's a bad effect. I hate
Janitor
that.
Tony is looking at the cameras and being
if you
like,
paid money, right, some good money to stay in a haunted hotel and nothing happens, you're going to be pretty bummed. But if something
Accurate.
happens like that, you're like, oh,
I suppose at that point, yeah.
you know, like you're kind of paying for the experience, right?
Yeah.
And speaking of like paying for experiences, I'd like to shout out any ghost tours that people would want to go to, because that is the best way to experience any type of folklore, ghost story, paranormal like experience, especially in that given area. I've known, I had my personal share, especially in Charleston, South Carolina, and also in Ireland. Ireland has a lot of creepy things that have gone over there. Ireland folklore is more creepy than some of the Grimm brothers?
Yeah.
Oh my
the
gosh.
Grimm brothers stories. Just imagine it. Lots of green meadows, graveyards, and vampires.
Ooh.
So I suggest everyone to kind of look up haunted places in Ireland, if people, especially when it's safe to visit.
Yeah.
Especially after all of the unfortunate
Have you guys ever looked into a
COVID
window
stuff.
and just saw somebody just staring at you?
Yes.
Creepy.
Actually, I was with my childhood best friend, and we were in middle school babysitting her baby brother. And I'm walking him to his playroom, and I turn around and I look into the living room where my friend is sitting to ask her a question. And I see in the window behind her someone looking in. And I scream. I go, "Someone's in the window." I grab her baby brother. I literally throw him into the playroom, lock the door. Me and her looking around the corners, looking outside. No one's outside, but we still call the cops. They can't find anyone. We give a full description. It was, and this window must have been like 5 feet off the ground. So they had to like look, like they were either really tall or had to like push themselves up to look. There are no footprints in the dirt outside under the window. We gave a full description. All I can remember were like these dark, piercing eyes, and I want to say like these really deep, huge freckles across their face. Like, I mean huge, like the size of a quarter.
Like pepperoni freckles?
Yes, like the size of a quarter, basically, is the best way I could describe it. And it was just staring at us. And when I screamed and like threw her brother back into the room and looked back and they're gone, it was just like, were they real? Like, are they, like, the cops got there really quickly, searched the whole neighborhood. And like I said, there was no, like, the gate was still closed. There was no footprints in the dirt, and it's loose dirt. So, I mean, you would have seen, like, something.
You would have seen some kind of shuffling or something.
Yeah. So going back to St. Augustine, I mean, I've been there a lot, growing up, a lot. I was on a ghost tour, and we're walking around, and we are walking through a residential area. And I remember just looking into this window. It was a very old-looking house, like white, old-looking house. Small, skinny, but it goes up maybe 3 floors. On the second floor, I just remember like seeing somebody just staring. It was pale with dark hair, and I'm like, all right, that's probably anybody. So I'm like, so who? I go right up to the guy, the tour guy, and I asked him. I said, who lives in these houses? He's like, well, these 2 or 3 that you were walking past right now, nobody. They're up for sale. But, and that was one of the houses I saw somebody up in the second window. But and then he said, but, coming up, we're getting more into like the neighborhoods where people actually live. But these houses have been abandoned since, I don't know, 1950s or something like that.
Wow.
So I told him, and he's like, oh, really? And he stopped like the whole, stopped the whole tour. We went right back to the house. People were taking pictures, but I just remember seeing it very, very vividly. It was like right there. And I'm looking, and it just seemed like a normal, she had to have been older than me, but a normal person just staring out into the window, second floor. I thought nothing of it. Like, people were just living there. And I'm like, okay, cool. Because he said, we're going through the residential area. So.
Gotcha. Wow. That's so creepy.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Spooky scary.
Anyone else hear that ghost? No? Okay. Whatever.
Oh my gosh. Well, oh my gosh. I mean, if you have any more stories or if that's it,
Wow,
today was a good, fun episode.
Perfect day for an episode.
We covered a lot.
We learned about scary dorm demons.
Oh. Irish tap dancers. Oh, Ireland, we wrapped back around. Look at that.
I know, we did,
Yes.
Hey, look at that.
Support your local ghost walk.
It's a great way to learn the history about whether your hometown or wherever you're visiting too. Even if you don't have any paranormal experiences, you just get to learn the history of where you are.
Exactly.
So that's always a plus.
And I'm sure you could definitely find any haunted areas in your town. I mean, New Jersey has a buttload of them, so I'm sure your state does as well. Especially if you're a 13 colony state, you definitely have some type of ghost stuff going on.
Oh, yeah.
Going on.
Yeah, if you were part of the revolution, you got some stuff going on.
But then again, if not, I mean, Native Americans have a lot of crazy stories too, so there's still a lot of stuff in different states.
We
that you
had
can
someone
visit.
come in talking about how something was built on a Native American burial ground.
Yeah.
It was
Lenore, was it? Yeah.
Lenore. Oh, so Lenore.
Amityville.
Oh, God, yeah.
You guys should see if you could get someone from a reservation to come on and tell some stories of their personal experiences.
That'd be interesting.
We do. Yeah, if anyone,
I mean, anyone want to come on, we welcome everyone.
Going back to your friend,
I would love to hear some
that had
reservation
the haunted
stories.
college. She should come on and speak more about her
Or
experiences.
just let us know if she experiences any more, if she's still there.
We'll have to bring like one of those black sheets and the voice changers.
Voice changers, yeah.
Drop it down.
Say anonymous.
Yeah, it took me a second. I got it.
All right, I guess that's a
All right,
wrap.
guys.
Thank you guys so much for coming on the show. We really
Thank you.
Thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
us.
Huge shout out to Haunted from Criss and Paige. Love that.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh! Well, please
Subscribe.
Come. Yeah, subscribe.
Did you say haunt? I think it ghosted.
It might be. It might be ghosted.
Ghosted. All right, okay, I'm gonna redo this. Huge
Don't
shout
forget
out to Ghosted from
don't forget to like and
Criss and
subscribe.
Ghosted with Criss and Paige.
Ghosted with Criss and Paige.
This goes on YouTube, right? Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes. Oh, you guys are covering it for us. Yes. Please leave us a good rating.
They're
if you
also
like
on
us.
Instagram at
Some views.
ghosted.
At Ghosted WCP on Instagram.
Yeah.
And GWCP_podcast on Twitter. You
If
can
someone
find
has a story to share, where would they send that email?
You will send that email to ghostedwithchrisandpaige@gmail.com and Paige will answer you immediately, most likely.
You heard it here, folks. They're on the social media and they are on the email.
And we might be on the TikTok.
Be careful though.
We're going to get banned.
It's gonna get it might get banned in the US. Hopefully not though.
At Paige AF7, if you're interested. It's literally only ads right now, but I would like to incorporate if I can. But all right.
Ghosted.
Yeah. All right. See you
right,
guys.
guys.
See you next time.
We're wrapping this one up.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye.